Hello, horror addicts. I'm Kristin Battestella, aka Kbatz, and I've pulled out my headless twin from the corner because I wanted to talk a little bit about like dress alterations. I don't want to say the word dress alterations because I think that's probably very scary for a lot of people, but actually, alterations can be something very simple that can really help take some of your thrift finds or secondhand clothing up to the next level. This is actually a thrift dress. Um, Saw the tag on it. $9 Goodwill. I probably didn't pay that. I probably paid 4 when it was like the half off sale. But this is that kind of rockabilly kind of style that's happening now. Some folks like Victorian or goth romantic. Some people like more vintage 50s style kind of throwbacks. And it's tough to find a lot of that when you're looking at local stores. But if you go to secondhand shops, Goodwill, thrift stores, you can find things that are old and, vintage, retro. And sometimes you look at it and say, oh, well, it's cheap for the price, but maybe it's too big, maybe it's too small, or there might be a few little problems, a zipper trouble or a missing button. But those things can be fixable, and you can really take something to being something special. A lot of what's high-end quality clothing that's quite expensive, what makes it extra special is that it tends to be tailored or more structured or just slightly better pieces. So that is really those little extra things that can make something really zing. And when you see people wearing something that maybe is too small or too tight, or they're constantly adjusting something, or maybe something that's big and baggy, that's where maybe someone doesn't seem so stylish, or because the clothing seem ill-fitting, that maybe the person seems kind of a little ill-fitting or uncomfortable. And that's not what we want. We want to wear what we want, and we want to look good, and we want to own it and be special, and who cares? So I actually, of course, I don't really sort of fit into this rockabilly kind of style. It's not really my body shape, but I love the dress. And I mean, if I was paying full price, I don't even know if it has a tag in here for what brand it is, because I don't pay attention to brands. But obviously it would have been a lot more than $9. I mean, it is long, ankle length of nice layered material and everything. But as I said, this is not necessarily my body type. And a lot of times it's difficult when you're sizing things, of course, when you go to the thrift stores. Maybe something has a bigger number, but numbers and sizing is relative. Did something shrink? And some places they do have things that they have fitting rooms you can try things on. Other times I tend to wear something where I can just put something new over top just to look in the mirror. And I have another one of these. That is this really awesome polka dot. I really got it because of the polka dot. And this, although says it's a larger size, it's actually too small for me. I mean, obviously there's probably other reasons for that. But this one, I may end up kind of cannibalizing. Just cutting for the skirts and making the top into something else, which that is a little obviously more labor intensive. And this one was a whopping $12. And yet it's got some kind of JC Penney tag for $70 on it. So that's the thing. If you were going to a store and buying something for $70, but then had to say to yourself, well, gee, I have to make a tuck here or tuck there, then it does become a scary dress alteration. Because then it's, what if I ruin it? What if I make it worse and I mess it up and then I spent money on this and now it's ruined? And then if you actually do go to a seamstress or a tailor, you're paying for their craftsmanship. So that's a lot of money, compared to if you buy something for a few dollars and it's great sewing practice and it's okay to experiment and it's something that you could custom fit to yourself for a few dollars and you've earned experience and practice and style and you feel good about what you're wearing. This, I need to make adjustments, obviously. I am not good with the halter neck, so these straps are big and long enough that I could put them in regular sort of strap position. And I also like that because I kind of like when you're wearing a traditional bra as well, that I'm just not a person that lets bra straps show. That just seems a little weird to me. So that's an easy fix. when you're buying a dress that if the straps aren't right, you can always take them in here, or I often tend to crisscross a lot of the straps. So that's a quick fix. Sometimes you could pinch here on the side. That's something that I would have to try on and make pins adjustments to do. A lot of times these are very deep, low necklines that, again, show a little too much kind of deepness for me. So that's something easy to just pin a little closer and stitch up in place. And sometimes those are really like easy minor adjustments, and that's all you really need. Now I know I'm showing you a dress form. I do want to talk briefly about that, because I think some people think it's so overwhelming to get into sewing. I think people think, oh my God, I do have to have, you know, an expensive dress form. And I think I got this with a lot of coupons and discounts and rewards. And I think it was still almost $200. And again, that's a bill payment. That is a lot. And, you know, there are some really expensive sewing machines. And there are dress forms that cost a lot more. This is the kind that is an adjustable form. And I know there are a lot of professional kind of YouTuber kind of costumers who do step-by-step kind of how-tos that they don't like the adjustable forms because of the plastic kind of works. You can't really stick your pins into them sort of just straight as you would, you know, you're hitting a hard core. But I went with the adjustable because I don't just sew things for myself. So there are times when I am kind of changing the sizing, you know, if I'm doing something for a family member or making a gift or something. So for me, the adjustable form works. And you don't have to have any kind of fancy dress form like this to make any kind of alterations. And even for this, as you can kind of see, these kind of look wider kind of sides, I do actually have other kind of pins and padding, because obviously I am still a little bigger than the dress form sort of in certain kind of areas, where if I am doing something for myself where I do sort of need to add other kind of adjustments and padding on the form. And but it's okay just to show you like this, some of these little quick fixes. Like I wouldn't be able to pin this perfectly on myself. It would just be maybe a little more trial and error, where maybe you'd measure and maybe you'd pin, and you could do a couple little quick little sewing stitches, and then if it needs to be kind of changed or adjusted. And I will still have to, once I've done these little sewings on the straps and sewn this in, I will have to check this area here where maybe, obviously because it's kind of big, maybe I will need to sort of take a little tuck and pin to here. So, and the way this kind of style has this already kind of rushed kind of ribbing and gathering, that's also very forgiving. I mean, if I want to tuck this here, well, you can't tell that it's not part of the dress design. So, and I tend to really love the thrift find kind of dresses, where even if I do make these kind of little changes, to me this is something that I could wear all year round, that another kind of little lacy kind of shirt or something could go over top. So that's another thing to look for if you're looking for some kind of quality. I guess obviously if you were wearing maybe shabby thrift things all the time, maybe it would show. But if you have something that looks slightly nice and customized, and then have a cute little kind of bolero or kind of another kind of cardigan on top, you know, all of a sudden it can also look kind of really nice and classy. I hope. So that guy has to go goodbye. There, the cat can play with that. This little shirt I actually just picked up for a couple dollars. I'm not sure if you can see, it also has that same kind of rib line to it. Sorry, showing you black on the camera doesn't necessarily help. Now, I don't even know if you can actually see this kind of gathering that's on the sort of bodice area. There's one part, there you go, right there, that has a couple little missing stitches. I don't even know if you can see it. There's like the loose little string, where just making a couple more stitches just so maybe that little gather line stays in place, and then it's like, wow, I have a nice new awesome little shirt for a couple dollars. And when I'm thrift shopping, I'm the kind of person, I don't really have a big closet. I don't really have a big wardrobe. And I'm the type of person, when something comes in my closet, something goes out of my closet. That's the way I have to maintain and control myself and the cat is climbing all over the closet right now. Okay. But I tend to look for things that I could not make. If there's something that I can make a little adjustments like this to fix it, that's great. But if it's something that is really beautiful and really elaborate, that's sewing skill and quality and technique that's beyond my capabilities, well then maybe it's worth the price. And I'm not very good with that kind of gather, kind of ribbing line. And this fancy lovely thing, I tried this on in the store over clothes and it seemed very big, and I thought, well, that's okay because I will be wearing it probably over other things because it has this sort of lacy, lovely kind of sheer shirt sleeve. And again, you can tell Romans is the brand for this. This has got some really fine kind of lace and kind of detail. Let me just briefly put it on. See if it can go over the form here. This is something I would not have been able to make. And of course, it's easier to shop for larger sizes. I mean, don't be afraid to look in, maybe, actually, I think this even said like a 2 or 3X on it. Again, because size is relative, but also if you buy something that's too small, and again, you're fudgeting and fidgeting, and when something is too small, maybe that's when an alteration takes a lot of big detail. That intent has where, oh, what are the fancy terms? Like gussets or darts and cutting things for other gore kind of panels. Then you're getting into big fancy sewing technical terms. And but when something is bigger, it is a little easier to take in. And again, sometimes that kind of take in is what creates those sort of nice tailored lines, which if this is obviously, we started with something a little rockabilly, but this is obviously something that maybe is a little more Edwardian kind of in tone. But I wasn't sure because I tried this on over clothes. It seemed a little big and I thought it would work well over something else. But then when I got home and I tried it on, I realized that it is still really a little too big. And it has a zipper in the back. And at first I thought, well, I could simply actually remove the whole zipper, which isn't that involved. You could just take this seam in. When I was younger, basically if you were doing a little sewing and something was messed up or you didn't know how to fix it, or you didn't know what you're doing, well, you could always just take it to like some kind of older old lady kind of relative who was some kind of expert seamstress, and they would fix it and they would know what you're doing. Now there's a lot of YouTube kind of people. There's some great costuming and people who are into doing historical costuming and really finite, accurate details. So you could take something in here on a side seam, which I know sounds kind of technically involved. All these things sound really complicated, and sometimes they can be. And I'm the kind of person, again, this is this nice lace that maybe you wouldn't want to ruin it. So my actual simple solution when things are kind of big like this, because I am a little more of the Victorian kind of style, I actually like to take things in at this kind of little back. And I like the higher empire waist kind of design, where the waist is a little bit more under the bust rather than at the natural waist. So I like that kind of bustle kind of look. So I can leave this zipper in, which I don't need to undo the zipper to get in and out of the shirt, but just taking like an inch here and just making that same kind of little pinch. Might even be able to do a little more than that. That creates, when you're wearing it, again, as you can see, this is a flat dress form. It doesn't consider that you have a butt. I have had other clothes that I've taken in just by doing that. You could also do, back in, I guess, the 90s, it was popular to add a kind of string on either side to do like a little tight tuck in the back. But I like that this kind of creates just this little extra, little pleats and little oomph, almost like a faux little, when I'm looking at it here, it doesn't seem like I'm doing very much, but I can see on the camera that it has created that little bit of a little silhouette, which is what I kind of like. So you can see that maybe the shirt goes from being baggy and okay, maybe just some kind of big lady shirt, to, which is fine. It's a beautiful shirt, but now it can go into something that's a little more custom fit formed, which all because it's just a couple basic stitches. If you can thread a needle, you could do something like this. And all of a sudden I've made something that looks kind of pseudo-Victorian because it's got a little lacy ruffle bustle here. And I feel like I've rambled a little bit for you. But when we've been talking at a horroraddicts.net Facebook group, a lot of folks have been saying like they just like to see how things are done and they're a little scared to make those kind of efforts or do something. And when you're shopping for some kind of thrift finds, it's easy to take the leap. I mean, you're not spending a lot of money and you may find something unique and special and you can customize it to you. And it's okay. Give it a try. Give it a whirl. If you can see these crazy things, these came from the last thrift haul, and they say $15 Home Goods Marshalls, and I got them for $4. So I had a large and a small, and of course these, hopefully maybe someday I will get to some kind of Halloween ritzy thing for these, and I do have some other scary Gothic candles and Bee Gees 8 tracks, because I'm trash for the Bee Gees, but I love to go thrift haul. So it goes beyond clothing, I guess, if you're looking at alternative kind of shopping and secondhand kind of opportunities, but it's okay to take the leap. I mean, this was $9 and it feels a lot heavier than $9. The Bee Gees cost was just irrelevant because I love the Bee Gees. So as I said, where have I said it? horroraddicts.net is our blog where I've written a few things about some sewing and some alterations. And you can find my videos on YouTube. You can do the little subscribe or notifications if you don't find them on our horroraddicts.net blog first. You can talk to us at our horroraddicts.net Facebook group. And don't forget about our horroraddicts.net online writers conference that's coming up at the end of February, the 25th, 26th, and 27th. The boards are actually open now if you just want to talk in the general kind of fun section with all our regular horror areas. Instagram is Kbatz Crafts with a Z, so that way hopefully I can post some more pictures of some more sewing and thrift hauls and crafts and everything for you. So I've been rambling, and I think this video kind of turned into something different than what I intended it to be, and the cat is roaming around a little bit and getting antsy with some of the fabric. So I think I better sign off now. Okay, bye.